Today we're going over the pros and cons of owning a boat here in coastal Delaware. Let's go. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back for another edition of Living in Coastal Delaware. I'm your host, Matt Lunden, your Coastal Delaware Realtor, and today we're discussing the pros and cons of owning a boat here in coastal Delaware. Before we dive too deep in the video, as always, if you are someone that's looking to make a move to the area or considering relocating to Delaware, I would love the opportunity to work with you. So all my information is down below in the description and here on the screen. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Now let's dive in. So we're going to take a look at 3 pros and 3 cons of owning a boat here in coastal Delaware. If you already own a boat, some of these may be familiar with you already. They're pretty generalized, some of them, and then some other ones are going to be more specific to our area. So if you're considering buying a boat or if you already own a boat, make sure you stick around to the end so you don't miss out and you don't have something bad happen to you. So first we're going to dive into our pros. And first on my list of pros is going to be, we live in a water-focused area. So you can do a ton by boat. You can get to a bunch of restaurants on the bays and within the canals. So it's pretty cool. You can hop on your boat on a summer's evening and you can stop at a number of different restaurants, have dinner, have drinks, that kind of stuff, and do happy hour by water. So you don't have to fight traffic. You can just hop on your boat and cruise on over, and it makes life a lot easier that way. And what better way to enjoy a sunset than by boat along the waterway? It's definitely a cool and awesome time in the evenings during the summer months. Number 2 is going to be that you're going to be a popular guy. Like I said, we live in a water-focused area. A lot of people around here enjoy going out on boats, enjoy spending time on boats, fishing, crabbing, just cruising, whatever it may be. And if you're the one that owns the boat in your family or friend group, you're going to be a pretty popular guy. Everybody's going to want to go out with you and make use of that boat because it's not their expense, it's your expense. So they're going to want to spend some time out on that boat with you, and you'll have no shortage of finding people that want to go out on that boat with you. That brings me to number 3, which is going to be, you get to do all of those activities on your time. So you don't have to wait. If you want to go cruising on your boat, you can hop on your boat and go cruising. You don't have to wait for somebody else to, decide when it's time to go. You can just pack up, go, grab your boat, and head on out. If you want to go fishing, if you want to do just cruising, whatever it may be, it's your time, it's your boat. You can leave when you want because you're the captain. And then as the old boat adage goes, you are the captain, so nobody else can tell you when it's time to come back to dock. It is your decision when it's time to come back to dock. So you can spend your days how you want out on the water and just enjoying everything that we have to offer here in coastal Delaware via the waterways. Now, as we take a flip and look at the cons, is going to be the not so glamorous side of owning a boat here in coastal Delaware. Again, some of these may be more generalized than others, but for the most part, this is going to be pretty focused on coastal Delaware. So number 1 is going to be the expense. That is not just the monetary expense, it's also the time expense. You're going to have a little bit of both when you own a boat. Boat upkeep is not generally too cheap. And then running a boat is not too cheap. If you look down at the gas station next time you're in the car driving down the road and check the gas prices at the marina are almost always much more expensive than they are on the roadways. So if you think gas expensive for your car, just go look at your local marina prices, and I guarantee you they're probably more expensive there. And then there's the time expense. Every time you pull that boat out of the water, you're going to have to make sure you wash it off, clean it off, get everything out of it, get it back on the trailer, all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a time expense and a money expense to consider when you are, either looking to move to the area with your boat or moving to the area and purchasing a boat. Number 2 is going to be the time to educate yourself. A lot of times we don't see people educating themselves on the waterways here in coastal Delaware. Some of the bays have some very shallow sandbars that, during high tide you can't actually see them, but they're still there. And so you see a ton of boats that people come, they throw their boat in the water, and they just go take off, and 10 minutes later they've run aground on a sandbar and they're waiting for a boat to come tow them off. We see it pretty frequently because a lot of times, people just don't spend the time that they need to educate themselves on the waterways and where they can experience deeper water and more shallow water. The shallow spots always seem to accumulate in the same areas, even if they dredge them out, they do still accumulate back in those same areas. So you need to take the time to educate yourself so you're not the guy that's out there, he's got a full head of steam getting ready to go out fishing, and all of a sudden he's stuck in 1.5 inches of water, and the boat's stuck for the next couple hours waiting on a towboat to get there. And then the final con is going to be storage. Boat storage. We live in a water-based area. There's a ton of people with boats, and there's a very limited number of slips. So if you want to keep your boat in the water in a parking spot slip, you're going to need to start doing that research before you move down here, because they are very hard to come by, and because of their scarcity, they can be expensive. The slip cost, depending on where you're looking, is not going to be very cheap. So that's just one more thing to take into consideration. And then if you can't find a slip, you're going to have to trailer that boat each time between uses. And the real kicker there is your HOA. If you live in a community with an HOA, there is a pretty good chance that they're not going to let you store that boat in your driveway. So then you're going to have to find a storage facility where you can park the boat, and then that just adds to the time each time you want to use it, and it just makes things more difficult. A lot of times the HOAs, they'll let you, park in your driveway to get it ready for the day, and then when you're done with the day, you can bring it home, hose it off, clean it up, and then you got to take it to the storage facility. So it can make things a lot more difficult as far as convenience factors go, and it's just another layer of things to take into consideration when you're either buying a boat or moving to Delaware and you already own a boat. That's going to do it for today's video on the pros and cons of boat ownership here in coastal Delaware. I hope you guys took some value away from today's video. As always, if you did take something away from the video, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down below and smash the notification bell next to it. That'll keep you in the loop each week when we go live discussing all things coastal Delaware. And then, like I mentioned before, if you are someone that's looking to move to the area or you're considering relocating to coastal Delaware, all my information is going to be down below in the description and here on the screen. I would love the opportunity to work with you, so please don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace.